You're not broken. That idea, that whisper in your mind that something is fundamentally wrong with you, it didn't come from within you, it was taught, conditioned, repeated until it sounded like truth. But it isn't. What if the real problem isn't you, but the world around you, a world that praises conformity and punishes uniqueness, that rewards silence over expression, that calls survival a success while ignoring the soul's slow suffocation? Most people don't even realize how deeply their environment shapes their sense of self. Like a plant judged for not thriving in poisoned soil, you were never broken. You were born into a system that doesn't know how to hold people like you. The ones who feel deeply, think deeply, question everything, the ones who can't just move on or get over it, the ones who notice the cracks in things and dare to wonder what's beneath them. You see, society isn't designed for emotional depth. It's engineered for productivity, predictability, control. From the time you were a child, you were taught to be normal. Sit still, follow rules, smile even when it hurt. You were rewarded for obedience, not authenticity. For being agreeable, not real, and when you couldn't fit into that mold, they called you difficult, sensitive, lazy, dramatic, as if your pain was a problem instead of a message. History is full of people who didn't fit. Vincent van Gogh, whose art now sells for millions, died in obscurity, told he was mad. Emily Dickinson, whose poems are now studied around the world, spent most of her life in isolation. Even Socrates, who questioned the world too loudly, was sentenced to death. These were not broken people. They were simply ahead of their time, misunderstood, unseen. Psychologically, the pain of being misunderstood cuts deep. There's a concept in psychology called emotional invalidation. It happens when your feelings are ignored, minimized, or judged. Over time, it teaches you not to trust yourself, not to believe your own experiences. You begin to think, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I am too much. That's not truth. That's trauma, and it runs deep. Studies show that chronic invalidation, especially in childhood, is linked to depression, anxiety, even borderline personality traits. But what if the issue isn't a disorder? What if it's a normal response to an abnormal world? We live in a culture that teaches emotional suppression, that says man up, don't cry, get over it. A culture that mocks vulnerability and calls it weakness. But you were never weak, you were wounded. There's a difference, and in that difference lies everything. Somewhere along the line, we confused resilience with repression. We turned pain into pathology. We medicalized suffering instead of understanding it. And in doing so, we made millions of people feel defective for being human. But here's the truth. There is nothing wrong with you for feeling things deeply, for struggling in a world that values speed over sensitivity, for breaking down when everything around you demands performance. Pain is not failure, it's feedback. The world may not understand your kind of pain, but that doesn't make it any less real. Just like the night doesn't cease to exist because others are asleep. Your experience is valid, even if no one claps for it. Look around. We live in a society addicted to distractions. People numb themselves with noise, with screens, with substances. Why? Because silence reveals what they've buried. Because feeling hurts, but you feel it all, the beauty and the brutality, the wonder and the weight, and that can be overwhelming, exhausting, but it's also sacred. You're not broken. You're awake in a world that wants to stay asleep. And that will always feel lonely. But that loneliness, it's not a sign that you need to change. It's a sign that you see clearly. You haven't gone mad, you've gone honest. And honesty in a dishonest world is radical. It takes courage to not numb out, to not become bitter, to stay soft in a world that celebrates hardness. That courage is your rebellion. So what do you do with this pain, with this ache to belong in a world that doesn't see you? You stop trying to fit. You stop contorting yourself into versions that gain approval but cost your soul. You start honoring the parts of you that others call too much, your sensitivity, your insight. Your sadness, your fire, because somewhere someone is praying to meet someone like you, someone real, someone raw, someone who makes them feel less alone, and you can be that person. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to feel, to witness, to transform pain into poetry, into empathy, into art. That is not brokenness. That is alchemy, and the world desperately needs more alchemists. So the next time you hear that voice, the one that whispers you're too sensitive, too strange, too much, remember, that voice is echoing old wounds. It's not your truth. Your truth is this: you are not broken. You are beautifully attuned to a world that has forgotten how to feel. You carry the medicine of awareness in a society addicted to illusion. That will never be easy, but it will always be worth it. Now I want you to do something brave. Pause, reflect. Think about the parts of yourself you've hidden, denied, or labeled as flaws. What if they were never flaws at all? What if they were your greatest gifts? If this video stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like it, share it, subscribe for more content that dares to feel, and in the comments tell me, what part of yourself are you learning to reclaim? Because you're not alone in this. You're not broken. You're just living in a world that doesn't understand you. Yet